experience.
I may have like a backwards way into Mormonism, because reading the Book of Mormon, like I said, I love it. But that's actually not what like really kind of catches my attention. What catches my attention is like I guess you would call them the restored doctrines. So, for example, the premortal life. When I heard that, and when it was taught to me and explained to me, I'm like, I've always believed that. That's something that just rung true to me. We're pilgrims here, and like my memory's been wiped. I want to go back to that place. It's home, and yeah, that like I am eternal in that sense, and so that rang true to me. And so little doctrines like, it's not little, but doctrines like that, the different tiers of heaven, like that's an amazing beauty. Like if that's true, that is so amazingly good news. And so I know where Marcus Aurelius could be. It's great.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's interesting when you start to reframe the entire endeavor as, instead of God sort of, well, if you cross this particular line, you got to go to heaven, or if you don't cross that line, then you go to hell. Where I often tell people, look, God is trying to take you as far as you are willing to go. Marcus Aurelius went as far as he could in this life with what he had.
Yeah.
And he developed his character in such a way in this life that I would say that in the next life, that there still is a chance that he will continue to progress. And in the kingdoms of glory, it's sort of like, how far are you going to go? The ones who make it to the celestial kingdom are those who basically don't put a cap on it.
Mm-hmm.
They say, I'll go as far as you'll take me, Lord.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm yours.
Yeah.
And when you reframe it like that,
yeah,
it's like, but then it leads into the things that, people kind of laugh about. It's like, Mormons are crazy. They think they can become gods, but it's sort of like,
well, Jesus became, I mean, like, right? Like,
yes. And the question is if you're going in that direction, if you're progressing, if this concept of progression exists, well, then what's the limit?
I'm going to paraphrase. C.S. Lewis says something along the lines of, if you saw someone who died and came back, you would have every inclination to fall down and worship that being who you saw. And so we are on this journey to be glorified. And we see aspects of that with it's Peter and John that go up to the Mount Transfiguration.
Yep.
Right. They want to worship Moses and Elijah. Right. And so, yeah, it's really cool. Like I said, I grew up nominally Christian, but my family is like very much Pentecostal. My grandparents came over from Ireland, and so my grandfather was Irish Catholic. And on my grandfather's deathbed, they're trying to have him say the Jesus prayer. And like, listen, their intentions are well-meaning. But at the same point, like if they thought if that didn't happen, he's going to hell. And that's like such a, if you like just look at the psychological realism of that whole thing, it's wild. They're thinking they're pleading with God to say a prayer that he has a proper view of God, and by faith, that he can get out of Rome, that he's going to go to hell. I'm like, that's a very weird view, in my opinion, And so when I see the Mormons, I'm like, this is a holistic system. Like, God is not looking to like damn you if you don't have intellectual assent of the proper concepts, And
that is such again, that's one of those distinctions in Latter-day Saint theology compared to other groups, where it is about belief in a sense.
Yeah.
Because from our beliefs, these good changes in us happen. It's about conversion. Yeah. It's about transformation through Christ from the inside out, because we trust him and we are willing to try and do his will and align with what is for us the celestial order of things. And people will, to one degree or another, be willing to approach that.
Yeah.
And God bless our Catholic and evangelical friends who they look at us as dangerous because we might convince people to think things that aren't correct, and that'll get you sent to hell. Whereas for us, it's like, I am so happy that you guys are getting people to the level that you're getting them.
Sure.
It's wonderful. I just am like, and guess what? We can
There's
take
more.
even further. Like, we got even more puzzle pieces here. You know?
Exactly.
It's fantastic.
And it's cool because I feel like it fits in with the plan that a all-knowing, all-loving God would have.
Yeah.
Because in order for us to grow, we have to work with one another of our own volition, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise, we can't have that growth. He can't force that growth on us, right? And so I think that's an amazing thing, the way that it works.
Yeah.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button so my future videos show up on your feed. Also, if you or someone that you know has benefited from the content here on Thoughtful Faith, please consider becoming a channel donor or volunteer by visiting my new website, thoughtfulfaith.org, and clicking on the Get Involved page.